destroy his back. And I think the next morning he couldn't get out of bed. But yeah, that was weird. And then they were trying to make sure he was gonna show up at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how that went about.
Wanted to make sure he didn't lose his smile, and if he did, they'll try to help him find it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Michael Cole meets with him backstage talking about the reffing and whether or not he'll actually be unbiased in the match between The Rock and Triple H.
Yep.
The next thing is they had the backstage segment that was pre-recorded where Latino Heat gets out with China and Dean Malenko runs into him, which this actually leads into the match between Saturn, Malenko, and Guerrero. 3 former WCW guys putting on a match here, and 2 of which were the biggest parts of Cruiserweight division.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't rate the...
oh, you're right. We didn't. How would you rate the 6-man tag?
I did a 6.5.
I did 7. Yeah, it's weird because this, to jump back a little bit about the rating and whatnot, this tag team match had everything that old WWE tag team matches had, where it just exploded into a bunch of different things going on at the last minute.
Yeah.
So, okay, so jumping right back to, I'm pretty sure this was on for the European title.
This was.
Saturn, Malenko, and Guerrero.
Yeah.
Guerrero had the European title. Malenko had the light heavyweight, right? Was that right?
Say it again, you said?
So it was for the title. Guerrero had the European title. Malenko had the light heavyweight title, and Saturn was titleless.
I don't recall Dean having the light heavyweight title. I could be wrong about that one.
Okay, because I could have swore I heard them say on commentary that Malenko was a light heavyweight. But basically, you have Guerrero and Malenko, who were a pinnacle of the WCW Cruiserweight division before they came to WWF. And you had these 3 show up, essentially, in WWF.
That's right. So, part of the 4 Radicals was Benoit.
Benoit was the other guy, yeah. If there's one thing I noticed in watching this match is nothing against Eddie, but you could definitely tell he might have been doing something later on to get more muscular.
Yeah. A little something
there. Because he was definitely more, not lanky, but he was definitely more thin, and you can tell by his movements that he was a little bit more comfortable too. And this one was a interesting match because Malenko tried to. Well, let me back up. Saturn we'll try to put Malenko in the Texas Cloverleaf. Malenko tried to put Saturn in the rings of Saturn. And look, when it comes to submissions, actually, the Texas Cloverleaf is one of my favorites. I always like that move.
Yeah.
It, to me, was a variation of basically the sharpshooter, or the way I grew up with it, the Scorpion Deathlock. And I just like, because Malenko did it too. He did a double arm powerbomb, and right after Saturn landed for it, he locked him into the Texas Cloverleaf, and that was an easy transition. But in any case, they go back and forth a lot. And then there was this spot where Saturn puts on, because Guerrero and Malenko are fighting at the top of the turnbuckle. Saturn gets Guerrero on top of his shoulders, then drops Guerrero onto the top rope to knock Malenko off the turnbuckle and crouch him to it.
Yeah.
By the way, Cherry called her Mamacita, but China had the flowers with the lead pipe, and Malenko got a hold of the lead pipe, tripped by China, knocks himself out, and then Guerrero picks up the win.
Yep. I thought it was a good spot.
There's a lot of good spots in this match. A lot. So how would you rate this, honestly?
I gave it a 5.
You had a 5, really?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I gave it a 5. I figured you guys had to say something about it. Yeah.
I gave it a 6.5. The only reason that there's a point deduction, if you will, is because I don't like the fact that they used a lead pipe to end the match.
A decent match, just didn't have me the whole way. So I thought that was, they put on a good match. They did. I had no problem with that.
I will fully admit there is a bias there because I was a WCW guy, diehard WCW guy.
Same here. Diehard.
I don't think I even seen this live, but
I didn't either.
I'm pretty sure that as a WCW fan, I was a fan of Saturn, I was a fan of Benoit, and I was a fan of Malenko. Eddie took me a little bit because Eddie was a good heel. I did not like him as a kid because he was a good heel. I did not like the LWO stuff that he was doing to Rey Mysterio back then. Yeah. So it took a long time for me to get behind Eddie Guerrero, which I ultimately did right before he won the championship against Brock. But I will fully admit there's more than likely bias to this because I just like the three guys in the ring.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I enjoyed those three guys. They always did good work in WCW, and they continue that in WWE and WWF. So that it was not a bad match. Just parts of it just wasn't really carried into it. So I wasn't totally emotionally involved. So, that's pretty much there is for me. But as far as who I was a fan of, to go back in WCW too, I was more captivated by Dean Malenko different ways. But they're all.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was going to ask you: do you think that WWF messed up with Dean Malenko?
In certain ways, I do. I think you could have done more. Definitely. Instead of mostly sticking around the light heavyweight division for a while. I understand he was one of the leaders, top guys, I should say, in the cruiserweight division of WCW, but I just feel like they could have done more with Dean Malenko. But he still had a great career, and they understood it could have been more that could have been done in time. But, there's more guys you could have worked with, too.
Yeah, and for me, it doesn't seem like WWE knows how to work with certain people, and the two people that come to mind immediately was Lance Storm and Dean Malenko. They weren't overly characteristic, but they were really good in ring. They know how to tell a story, and they kind of have that stern look about them. Where I will fully admit, WCW did Lance Storm more than justice by having him basically become the title collector and then change everything to the Canadian titles. I forgot what the hardcore title was, but it was a very Canadian name. He changed the U.S. title to the Canada title. Yeah. The cruiserweight was something like it was weight, I think, is in kilograms there. So it had something like kilo championship.
Yeah.
But WCW did well with Lance Storm with that. WWF killed Lance Storm by having Stone Cold call him boring. Yeah. And I think Dean Malenko kind of falls in that too. Dean Malenko could have been so much more.
One thing I give credit, the later years of WCW, and also I'll bring AEW as well into it. They opened up their roster. They don't have one division, one class. They have guys in there. You had Nash that worked with Mysterio. You had other guys in there that worked with Scott Hall and different things. Even towards the end, you had Kidman and Hogan. Maybe not be the best storyline, but at least you could bring in different people to work with different people. And that's what AEW does. But WWF has a thing where it takes if someone even gets to, it takes them so long to get someone the opportunity to work with somebody of a.
I have a lot of mixed opinions about Nash, and I was an old school fan of his. But there is one thing that he said that he did with booking and that he was most proud of, and it was the Rey Mysterio thing. They wanted to figure out how to get Rey Mysterio over, and he said no one in the back wanted to lose to Mysterio, and he goes, all right, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll lose. okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he lost to Mysterio and started the Giant Killer thing, and then he would say that was one of the things he was most proud of when he was doing the booking for WCW.
So I said there's certain parts I give credit to. It's like if you have one person or a group of smaller guys, you don't give them a little bit of a chance to go match up with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You're leaving a lot behind.
Well, one of the things that WWF messes with continuously, if the person is smaller than the other guy, unless they're Rey Mysterio, they don't really win. Like,
no, they don't. Oh, it's true. That's true. Or at least they don't make them look that good in a match.
The only one that kind of broke that mold is AJ, because AJ apparently, he looked really good against Brock Lesnar in their Survivor Series match.
Also, CM Punk did too with Brock Lesnar.
Right, but it's few and far between. Like,
I was talking about smaller guys. Why I said that? Talking about popularity too.
Yeah, like it's few and far between. They don't really do it that much and apparently, I guess Brock really likes working with the younger guys or the smaller guys, like the Daniel Bryans, the Finns, the AJs, because apparently he gets to have more fun. Because one, they don't mind going flying, but two, he thinks he has a little bit more fun selling for them. Apparently,
yeah.
Which, if that's true, kudos to Brock. I do find it annoying that he was kind of shitty to Dean Ambrose, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, it pissed me
off. So the next thing was Shane versus Big Show. I kind of remember this build up, so I might have been watching WWF during this time. The only part of it that I remember is the which way did he go? Which way did he go to Big Show? That's the only thing I remember about it.
Yeah, there's a moment when JR was talking about this. I swore I misunderstood him. But I thought he said when they changed his matchup, I thought he said, "Well, this guy's going to be now facing again a last man standing." He said something after that. I'm like, they just had a last man standing match like a month or two ago. That Backlash. I saw where it says false count anywhere. I'm like, okay, I misunderstood him. Like, wait a minute. I know I didn't watch this live, but still, it's anyways, yeah. But
I thought it was extremely stupid that they kept. And this was more on Jerry Lawler, but it was also part of the story. They kept calling Shane Simba.
Yeah, I did not. I was like, yeah.
Who's supposed to be Rafiki? Like, it didn't make sense. And then you had Shane, like, well, one, I definitely prefer Shane's new music, where it's Here Comes the Money, which I know that came after WCW, but that's more fitting than the No Chance.
Yeah. So we're a year, just a little under a year shy of here. Here comes the money. Money.
Yeah. But Shane had to get a lot of help. There's chairs from TNA. Tess and Albert. There's Trish tries to low blow Big Show. Big Moss Man was involved. A whole bunch of other people involved. But anyway, he gets backstage, and they basically dump this giant speaker on Big Show, and then
that's not backstage. That's the staging area.
The staging area? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was backstage, but the staging area. They dump this giant speaker over Big Show's leg, crack him over the head with a cinder block, and then they all pounce on him for Shane to pin him. And Shane ended up winning, which he looks weak in winning because, like I said. But beyond the which way did he go, do you know why this was booked? Because I don't remember.
It all really started very shortly after WrestleMania 2000. Which was 16, by the way, if y'all don't know what 2000 was.
I didn't know what 2000 was, so that helped me.
That's fine. They'll call WrestleMania 2000 or call WrestleMania 16. But the year 2000, in case anybody's not following me. They started the rivalry right after that, and it went on for a while. they just basically Shane looked at him like basically you're a waste of talent.